welcome to Catch Outdoors. I'm your host, Captain Rob Modies. This podcast is about living and playing in the Florida Keys. I cover my favorite sport, fishing, but also all the many things to see and do down here in the islands. Thank you so much for tuning in, and now it's time to kick back and relax with me in the Keys. This week's episode of Catch Outdoors, number 165. Hello, folks. Catch Outdoors brought to you by Spotify. The title of this week's episode is Fishing with Friends. I'm on a roll. Pleased to tell you that a couple from England took their holiday in the state of Florida and finished up with 5 days down here in the Keys. It was so good to see Don and Paul again. I made a lot of friends along the way when I was guiding, and these two they're pretty special. And more about our fantastic fishing trip in just a few. I had a blast. They had a blast. That's what's important. So, by the time you listen to this, another stronger cold front should be on our doorstep. Yeah. So, I'm recording this on Monday afternoon. So, Wednesday, we're supposed to have a pass through. And then they're talking about by next weekend, I saw 57 and 59 degrees for lows, which for us, that's cold. That's not chilly. That's just plain cold. That's the remnants of Sarah, believe it or not. By now, everyone's heard about it. And it hung out in the Caribbean, and everybody in Florida got all steamed and worried about it. But if you haven't heard about it, that's what it was all about. It wasn't probably not all that big a news up in the upper states or away from Florida and the Gulf Coast. But this storm brewed up down, in the Caribbean. It looked like it was going to be serious. We were all talking about how it was going to arrive, and it was coming in about 8 different directions, to be honest with you. They had everything from the Panhandle all the way down toward the Miami area and us, the Florida Keys. And as it sat there, it appeared, I don't know, it just came unglued. Let's just put it that way. It started to head toward the Yucatan Peninsula, and as of today, Monday, it is quite literally fallen apart. It's become a low pressure system, and it's going to move out into the Gulf as a rain event, and it's going to get picked up by a cold front that's headed this way, the one I just mentioned, and that's going to rain on us. It's going to push rain out in front of it. And even now, watching the forecast for Wednesday, it's getting thinner and thinner, so it's nowhere near the rain amount they thought we'd get. Let's just say some storms are really, really tough to figure out, and there was much worry and much hysteria about this one because, it was like, here we go again. This has been the longest, daggone, and craziest hurricane season I can remember. But November 30th ends it, I hope. I said this like a month ago. Oh, it's November, it's over. No, it wasn't. Anyway, we'll see what happens. If I don't have to hear anything from Mike of Mike's weather page until June or July, I'll be really happy of next year. Thanksgiving's right around the corner, followed closely by Christmas. I'm looking forward to it. I told Janelle that I really want to make it down to Key West in December after the lighting of the town takes place. I understand that that's on Thanksgiving or the day before. Okay, I'm not clear. It's right around Thanksgiving, and they light up Key West at that point. And I have never been there during the Christmas season and have heard all about it. Janelle's been there. I think she might have been twice because of her job, taking pictures and, posting about what's going on. Heck, I just live right down the road. Well, 2 hours down the road. But much shorter than driving there from Fort Myers and certainly from, Fort Lauderdale. Either way, it's a long drive from Fort Myers, by the way. If you want to get down to Key West, you're talking 6 hours. On a good day. Thanksgiving Day comes next, and there's something big happening on that date. On Thanksgiving, the garden party kicks off with Billy and Cindy Davidson. Invitation-only party features musical artists from the Keys, and it's usually held on a Tuesday. However, the first night will be on Thanksgiving, and there are a couple of Mondays thrown in for scheduling of, when I have to arrange to get a guest there. But we've been invited to the Thursday, which is also going to be a duo neighborhood Thanksgiving thing. So we know what we're bringing, and it should be really a whole lot of fun. The party, by the way, is shown live on YouTube. Just search Billy Davison Garden Party, and it should pop right up for you. First guest is David Goodman. Met him the other night. We were all having a sing-in at one of the local bars here, and it was kind of funny. He's a great songwriter and singer as well, and he has taken to my songs. Thank you, David. So we'll see what happens. I'm looking forward to it. I love getting together with all the music people. Let's see. What's next on my list? Red Tide Report. Dun, 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 dun. This one came out Saturday, actually Friday late. Over the past week, red tide organism has been detected in 74 samples collected from Southwest Florida. Bloom concentrations were observed in 11 samples that were 100,000 parts or more. Offshore Pinellas County, 1 each in Hillsborough, and Manatee counties, 5 in Sarasota, 2 in and offshore of Charlotte County, and 1 in Lee County. Satellite imagery continues to show elevated chlorophyll patches along and offshore of northwest and southwest Florida. Let's see. In southwest Florida over the past week, Carina brevis, red tide, was observed in background to medium concentrations in and offshore. Let's see, where's the Lee County thing? Here it is. Low to medium concentrations in Lee County and off of Collier County. All right. Maybe it's waning. Let's keep our fingers crossed. Christmas Eve is now 5 weeks from today's podcast. My latest article is also in the November issue of the Coastal Angler magazine, the Keys edition. It's about celebrating Thanksgiving with seafood. Check it out. I don't know what we're going to be. I know that we're probably bringing deviled eggs and things like that to where we're going. But those of you who live in Florida and you are like tired of ham and turkey, does anybody get tired of ham and turkey? I kind of doubt it. But anyway, if you do, you can have a seafood Thanksgiving. And I wrote all about it in an article. So check it out. Right down to the very end of it, of course, would be key lime pie. That's how you have to end those kind of celebrations. You can pick up a copy of the Keys edition anywhere here in the Florida Keys. And if you're not here in the Keys, you can go to coastalanglermag.com and just click on the Keys edition. And then look for my article. College of the Florida Keys has a location here in Key Largo. I get their magazine, their publication called Keys Currents that they send out, telling me what's going on at the college and stuff like that. As you know, would you like to sign up for a class? I don't know. I toyed with the idea, but they've got this new thing that they're working on right now, and it's called Making Mariners. Students train from wheel to keel in a nationally recognized technician training program. This is really pretty cool. The College of the Florida Keys is at the forefront of the industry, offering a comprehensive associate in applied science in marine engineering, management, and seamanship that combines practical skills, academics, and real-world experiences. During the 2-year program, students deconstruct and rebuild an old vessel by installing an engine, power systems, and navigation equipment. They then learn to operate the craft as both captain and crew. Along the way, they develop a wide range of skills and experience. Students can also pursue 1-year certificates in marine technology or professional welder as a standalone credential or as a pathway to the associate's degree. So basically what they're doing is they are taking what I have long said, somebody needs to teach nautical stuff. Not just going and getting a captain's license. That's a whole different ballgame. But this thing's gotten national recognition. It takes place, and they have 3 campuses. They have one here in Key Largo, one in Marathon, and then one in Key West. And if you're in the Keys, this would be something really interesting. If you're not, or if you're, maybe you're a student, you just can't decide what the heck you're going to do after high school or where you're going to go, but you really are interested in the water and marine type jobs, this would definitely be something to look into. So there you go. It is at let me get the front page again, the College of the Florida Keys. So check it out. I got pretty excited when I saw that. Wish they had it around when I was a kid. Let's see, what else is happening? Hang on, I'm turning my page. Oh, the Reef Revival Fest. That's November the 22nd, 5 to 9 o'clock. It's down at Bud and Mary's Marina in the Marina Barn. This is a big community festival celebrating MOTS. That's Mote Marine Laboratories. Dedication to researching and preserving the Florida Keys Reef Tract and to get a firsthand look at Mote's resilience-focused restoration efforts. The evening will include live music, food trucks, coral nursery tours, Florida Keys Brewing Company beer, junior coral scientist kids zone, microfragmentation workshops. If you don't know what that is, that's where they break up coral into little pieces to be replanted. It's fascinating. A mechanical shark ride, not a bull ride, a shark ride. I got to see this. Special thanks to event partners Bud and Mary's Marina, Florida Keys Brewing Company, Keys Weekly newspaper, Iconic Reefs, I Care, Marine Lab Environmental Education Center, and Movable Feast, and Take Two Kitchen. Also, the music is going to be provided by Billy Davidson and Leah Sutter, both of them local musicians here, and the guy that just happens to work on my music and produce my stuff for me. Way to go, Billy. I will not be here on November 22nd, but Jonelle and I are doing a little birthday celebration out of town, and I'm like, dadgummit. So anyway, let's see, still working on my songs. Billy got busy. Yeah, the bars are playing music again after a slight layoff over the month of October into November. And November was a little slow, too, at the beginning, and now it's picked back up. So basically business was slow, but it ain't anymore. We went out to dinner a couple of times with Donna and Paul and just basically, participated. And I was like, wow, there's a whole mess of people back in town. So let's see what else is happening. I got several positive notes about my short commentary about the album Deja Vu by CSNNY. It's Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young. Thank you. I'm glad you liked it. I try not to play politics. But I just wanted to point out that this political stuff has been going on for a very long time, and I'm very old. I've since played quite a few albums from that era, and it was an amazing time, and I, for one, am glad that I was alive during that time in history. We're talking Woodstock and all that fun stuff that most of you have only seen on YouTube or read about. Things are a bit different now. I noticed one big thing while playing those albums. They each seem to have a theme that runs through the entire recording. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of gone away with the advent of streaming music and being able to easily buy one cut at a time of our favorite artist. Well, for example, I'll just bring up an old one. The Who had an album called Quadrophenia. It's a double album, and it's a rock opera. From one end to the other, it's a story. And that wasn't unusual in the day. There were a lot of artists who put an album out with an album title, but the songs ran together, basically. They all had, especially during the protest times of 1969, 70, 71, 72, in that era. So anyway, it feels like we've come full circle. I'm ready for more protest songs. Go for it, people. Don't get upset. Write music. I'm in it too, though. I'm into the single streaming thing. I'm part of the problem, I guess you could say. But I will say most of my music is meant to be fun, meant to be about life in the islands. So there is a theme, I guess. And to defend myself, I wrote most of these songs, 30 years ago? Yeah. Way before trop rock took hold. Thank you, Jimmy Buffett. Let me tell you this, in my opinion, there are no better places to write songs than in the islands, on a beach, or on a boat. Pretty simple. Just look around and write it down. Oh, hey, that rhymes. Yeah, right. Let's see, let's go fishing for a little bit. This is going to be a short podcast, by the way. Hold on to your short. No, I'm just kidding. As I mentioned earlier, Donna and Paul were here visiting from England. To say they both love the outdoors and fishing, again, would be an understatement. The window for fishing this past week was Tuesday, and I'm talking Tuesday was it. And somehow I managed to pull that out of the hat. I'm so glad that my weather forecasting was right on the money for a change. So Wednesday started blowing, and Monday wasn't that great, and Monday started to slow down, and then Tuesday was great. So here's how it went. We started way up in the Everglades National Park. I took them to my special place along the mangrove walls up there, and first fish caught was a great big old jack that Paul managed to get with just after a few casts. It was, let me tell you what, it was on. That was the nice thing about the whole morning. It was on. He got a great big trout, really nice trout, and some snapper. Donna hooked up once and lost it, and then once again where the whatever it was took off. And I mean took off. Worked drag forward, just trying to get things under control. I am guessing either a Goliath grouper or a great big shark because it didn't jump. So I can rule out the snook and rule out the big barracudas that occur back in there. I think she hooked a bull, maybe a lemon, but more likely a bull shark. Because, man, it ate. And this was on artificial, too, by the way. We started out casting soft plastics around the bushes, and whatever it was ate it and took off. And I mean, kept its head down and left. Not a tarpon either. Just no jump, no swirls like you normally see. This thing just bulldozed. Broke off. She was still excited about it. I don't think she's had anything pull quite like that. So it was fun to watch. Let's see. It slowed down right after that. And so we did a couple more mangrove shoreline areas. Paul got his very first barracuda. Let me tell you something really weird about that. That was the only cuda caught that day. Most days I go out and you can't avoid the daggone things. Every stop you'll have 3, 4, 5, whatever. And then you might get a few snapper, a snook or something in between. But the cudas were just absent. And I honestly have no idea why that happened. That was new to me. So pretty crazy. But he got his one cuda. He wanted to add that to his bucket list, and by golly, he got it. Thank gosh he got the one. Let's see. Then we ran out into Florida Bay. We came down out of the glades, ran back out through a little cut that I love going through, although you get chased by the flies and mosquitoes. But we made it. And got out on the flat and went out to an area that I like to call the Hump. I've just nicknamed it that because it's in the middle of Florida Bay, and it's a very cool location, and there's nothing around it. It makes no sense. Let's just put it that way. It just happens to be slightly shallower than everywhere else in Florida Bay that I fished, that area, and has a lot of grass on it, which of course helps. Good location for sea trout. And that's what we got. Donna caught an enormous ladyfish. I'm going to guess somewhere between 3 and 4 pounds. This thing was huge. Every now and then back on Florida Bay, you do get these monsters. Janelle caught one years ago that we still have a picture of, framed. I mean, how many times do you frame a picture of a ladyfish? Because it was gigantic. So she got that, and that broke her drought, which was good. We got a whole bunch of trout. I mean, a whole bunch of trout and some snapper. We had a huge lemon shark try to rip off the one of the trout. Got half of it, but it was pretty wild to watch that come up right next to the boat and eat a fish. And then we were harassed by a great big barracuda. We saw this. Okay, so there's one more cuda, but we couldn't catch it. I didn't want it caught. This thing was it's what I call stovepipes. Big around, 4 feet long. 4.5 feet long. I mean, really big. And it was just chomping, mostly on the snapper that came up. It would also hit a trout. It also liked ladyfish. Yeah, I forgot about that. It loved the ladyfish when we caught one of those. So that was what the mix was: ladyfish, sea trout, snapper, and a big cuda eating some things. And I think he finally got fed and quit. And then one great big lemon shark. In that particular area, we had pretty much nonstop action for, I'd say, an hour or a little better than. It was getting close to early afternoon, and the wind started to pick up as advertised for Tuesday afternoon into evening. So in other words, the window was morning until about 1 o'clock, and that's about where we were, 12:31, when the breeze picked up. So we headed back to a creek that I like to stop at, and we burned through at least 2 bags of frozen shrimp. By the way, the previous stop was all artificial, basically just using soft plastics on jigs. Anyway, we got to the creek, got the shrimp out. This particular spot is one of those things where you basically sit anchored. The incoming current was fantastic, and there's an awful lot of mangrove snapper in this area. They're parked up under the edges. The occasional snook, the occasional grouper, grunts, things like that, but mostly mangrove snapper. And we got a mess of them. I mean, that was another solid hour of until we ran out of the shrimp. We got some white grunt. We got some blue stripe grunt. Got some really decent keeper snapper. It was great. It was absolutely constant. And when it quit, it quit. I mean, it really, really was like, okay, I think you guys caught every single one that was underneath those mangroves and in the holes. And again, by that time, I thought the worst part of the whole day is going to be getting back across Blackwater Sound. It was okay. We had a really fun day. Everybody got sprayed with salt water on the back, which, by the way, is really good for your complexion. So it's great for your skin. I'm looking at the bright side. You just need a towel over your head is what you need. Small boats do not do well in a heavy chop, and it was a pretty heavy chop until we got back down right next to Key Largo, which was blocking the east wind, and it got a lot better. But we had a ball. We had a great time talking on the boat. We got a great time just seeing each other again, and I'm happy to say the fishing was pretty constant the entire 5 hours that we were out there, and that made a big difference too, of course. And they're back in England now, and it's gotten cold, and I feel bad for them, and I'm looking forward to them coming back. I hope they come back soon. One of the things I miss about guiding is just that. I miss the people on the boat. I miss talking to new people. I miss hearing about the cities that they come from. I've often joked about the fact I can tell you just about the best places to eat all across America, especially in states that I've never into cities that I've never been to. Because that's what you talk about on the boat. And a lot of times it runs around to food usually. And that's, I really miss that, but oh well, old age just seems to get in the way sometimes. I mentioned that I put the video gear back in use this past week, charged, ready to go. This is the time of year that I love to get those really nice overhead shots of the Keys. It's when you get the bright blue water, pretty sunrises and sunsets. Yeah, I love doing the drone thing, so I'm going to start that back up and start posting some stuff back on YouTube. I've been very lax about it, so and I know I have. This summer got in the way. I'm not going to kid you. This summer just got in the way. Way too many storms to keep track of, and it was just not. It's not good for the brain. No, it's just not. So hopefully things will get better next year. Please, Lord, let it be better during season next year. And now it's time for some useless information.
And now, from the original book of useless information.
You are a reject! You are useless! You can get a job down here cleaning toilets!
Here's your host, Captain Rob Modies.
Well, he swears up and down he's useless, but
he might be all right eventually, but completely useless.
With useless information.
Okay, here we go. Let's see. Tokyo has the world's largest bowling alley. For whatever reason. Karate actually originated in India. I did not know that. And that sounds odd. The only bone not broken so far during any ski accident is the one located in your inner ear. I'm glad I gave up snow skiing a long time ago. And last but not least, in the 4 professional major North American sports, baseball, basketball, football, and hockey, only 8 teams' nicknames do not end with S. These teams are the Miami Heat, the Utah Jazz, Orlando Magic, Boston Red Sox, Chicago White Sox, the Colorado Avalanche, Tampa Bay Lightning, and the Minnesota Wild. Boy, there's a tidbit for you. And there you go till next week. And before I go, here's some final words. We're fast approaching what I like to personally refer to as the fun season. I mean that in a number of ways. There's my birthday and Thanksgiving in late November. Yeah, I'm getting old, but happy to still be having fun while I'm going about getting old. Then comes winter in Florida, which means the end of sweating and breathing water when you go outside. It also means only 1 change of clothes per day. Looking forward to that. Laundry basket won't get quite as full, quite as fast. And then for me, there's Christmas. I love doing the house decorations, the food, the camaraderie of friends and family. I do. I like Christmas time. It's really great. Then comes New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. Again, a fun time to be here in the Keys. It makes me smile just thinking about it. I wish you were here. I'll talk to you later. Thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed listening, please tell a friend, leave a review, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. The Facebook page is Catch You Outdoors. Website is catchyououtdoors.com, where you can find all the previous podcasts, news about the books, and my music. Until next time, get outdoors and enjoy.